Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, He ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed His words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, His beloved Son, and by His word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give Him the stage, because He knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell His story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. He opens up to me and shows me His glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth for Him, I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me. To the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years He strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking Him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am His ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of His word before me.
Hey, welcome to Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing show in the world. It's Monday, March 16th, and this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, LOVE, love sports and the Word of God on the Tom the Bomb Show. And yes, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. At our YouTube channel is Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. That's Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. You can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. Again, that's info@tomthebombsports.com. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, we'd like to personally thank you guys for your prayers and your support. We appreciate that so much that you contribute to the show and our ministry. We sincerely thank you. We appreciate your patronage, and you can bless us to keep creating compelling content and spreading the word of God. Our business cash app is hashtag $ Tom Bomb Sports Talk. Again, that's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. We sincerely thank you, and may God bless you 100-fold return on the seed that you sow into our ministry at the Tom the Bomb Show. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things He's already done for us, and the new things that He's doing for us in 2026. Felix, I'm talking about the new things, Felix, okay? Uh, our theme for 2026 is the year of discovery for grace for beyond, to infinity and beyond in 2026, so that we can be transformed to a level that none of us has walked in before, so that 2026 can be the best year of our lives. And our foundational scripture that we're standing on, because you got to have a foundation, our foundation in 2026 is found in 2 Peter 3:8. And this is from the Good News Translation Bible. And it says, but continue to grow in the grace and the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. To Him be the glory now and forever. Amen. To God be the glory, right, Dad? Hey, gang, I'm pleased to announce our Community Hope Center at VCCI, Victory Christian Church International. We've started our grocery distribution program, and we're feeding 50 families in the designated zip codes on the third Saturday of each month at 11 a.m. Eastern. Our location is at 7-7 Metropolitan Court. That's in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Our zip code there is 20878. And it's open to all the residents of the following zip codes: 20877, 20878, of course, 20879, 20855, and 20882. And anyone that lives in Montgomery Village, anybody in Montgomery Village, you're welcome also. It's on a first come first served basis while supplies last. You can scan the QR code to register, or you can actually register on site. But all participants must complete a registration form. Please, please, please do that for us. Our goal is to work up to 100 families. So be in agreement with that we get to that goal. We want to be a blessing to our community. Amen. All right. Hey, we got trivia. We got trivia. We got trivia today. All right. Let's get to our trivia. Our trivia question is, who was the last men's team to lose back-to-back NCAA basketball championship? Who's the last team to lose back-to-back NCAA basketball championship game? I think I'm gonna get you guys on this one. You have to really be astute on this one. Alrighty, okay, I didn't take that out, but that's okay. That's our trivia question. And today we actually do have a poll question as well. And our poll question is our poll question.
From last week. Let's just highlight that.
Okay, Lord restore me. Okay. What are we doing from last week?
Just going over the starting five.
Okay,
And
all right.
it's down. Keep going.
Okay, alrighty. So we had our poll question from last week. It was on picking your starting five. Do you guys remember? You guys remember that last week's poll question was about the NBA, and you're the coach, and you're picking your starting five. And we just people have still been responding to this. So Tom the Bomb, my team was Akeem Olajuwon, Timmy Duncan, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and Steph Curry. Now Felix took Shaq, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Larry Bird, and MJ. Felix wanted six guys on his team. Troy, Felix trying to cheat. Okay. Felix, you can't play with six, Felix. You can't, that's not the rules. Now, I know the Washington Wizards need six, but that's a whole nother story. And, and Troy's team was Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and the Dream. That's a pretty good team there, Troy.
Thank you.
Let's get to our poll question for today. Now, our poll question for today is a little different. Okay, this week, after talking with a few ladies, few women, I wanted to put this out there. So, okay, so here we go. So, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott allegedly called off his April 2026 wedding after his fiancee, Sarah Jane Ramos, allegedly, I say allegedly, refused to sign a prenuptial agreement. What do you all think? Yes or no to the prenuptial agreements? Troy, do you think Dak needs to get a prenuptial agreement before he gets married, Troy?
Yup. If you ain't no punk, holla, we want prenup. We want prenup.
No, 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 not Troy and Felix. Felix, did I hear you in on that as well?
Yes, you did.
You guys, you guys. But I talked to a few different women, and they had some different thoughts. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna throw under the bus. Dr. Lauren had a different thought on that, and I don't know if she'll comment just off air, just so they can hear. But
I'm happy to.
Okay,
I think you're asking the wrong question.
okay.
Is should Dak Prescott insist that his fiance, Jane Ramos, sign a prenup, who's already the father of he's already the father of two children by her. She's the mother of his two children. Should she be required to sign a prenup?
I think that's irrelevant. Me personally.
I see why, quite honestly.
Say again, Troy.
I said I agree with you, Dad. I find that a little bit irrelevant as well.
Uh-huh.
Because ultimately, in all seriousness, if something happens and God forbid it be a mishap between the marriage,
Mhm.
but I have more worth than you. Not to say, like, from a personal standpoint, just from a money standpoint, you're not going to rob me for what I got. Now, if you don't get a prenup, what you can always do is put the money in your mama's name. So that way, if you ever get brought up like that,
The Tom Brady strategy.
Take,
And I
right?
totally understand that perspective. The issue is since we are a sports show from a Christian perspective and a Christian point of view, the word of God says, where where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So to me, it boils down to how you treasure your money more than you treasure the mother of your children
No,
and your marriage.
no,
That's what it says to me.
no. That's what, no,
That's what it says to me.
no, no.
Because where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And if it just comes down to the simple, here's how it's going to slice, I get a prenup and I don't marry the mother of my children and the woman that I say I love, okay, well, the prenup and the money treasure is where his heart is. Boom. That's how I see it.
Lawrence, it's not to say that you're wrong. I agree where your heart's at, but everybody doesn't think like you. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of
I understand.
take advantage of men because of the financial situation that they're in. So,
It's absolutely true, and I agree with that. I agree that there are a ton of women out there who take advantage of these professional athletes. And but when we're talking about a marriage covenant commitment, the issue is we're talking about God's way, not the world's way. I do understand. See, God's way is till death do you part. And so since it's till death do you part, prenup isn't an issue. So, but hey, we got the poll and it's gonna go and we'll see what's coming in the next week. And over air. All right, let's roll.
No, let's not roll. I can't let that slide. I got to go to the water boy on this one, Troy. I got to go to the water boy on this one, Troy. Mama was wrong. Mama was wrong. Listen, if she planning on staying married, then she don't need no prenup. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
Come
gonna
on, we're
answer
talking
that
about
on air question.
$240 million. Felix, that's generational wealth. Okay.
Yeah.
And that
And she's provided him with the generations already. She already, boom, she already gave him his legacy. He's got two daughters.
we didn't got to
He's got
boom.
the next generation already. Excuse me. What if you have $240 million and then you don't have anybody to leave it to? You don't have any legacy. She already gave him his legacy.
Well,
Okay, food for thought.
I somehow don't think Dak Prescott going to end up owning it by himself. What you guys think?
you get what I'm saying? Like, and respectfully, no, because it's not to say what she's saying is like wrong, because she's making valid points, right? But did they have the kids before they got married?
Yes, no problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it ain't like they went through the holy matrimony of marriage and then kids. Kids were part of the deal before they even thought about marriage, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just going off of experience for what I've seen, and from what I've seen, it's not necessarily the smartest route because you think everything's good, and then as soon as you let your guard down and something go wrong, that changes the whole aspect of where you are from a financial standpoint.
Felix, you sound like you in agreement there.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of understand both things. It's like ideally, when you're getting with someone, the idea is that, okay, you're supposed to come from the attitude if this is a permanent bond, right? That's the attitude. And again, from a Christian perspective, yeah, like you make that bond, then the kids come later. But the thing is, like, okay, understandably, it pans out differently for other people. Some people might not share the values, so on and so forth. And this could be used as I'd say possibly a teachable moment. But I'd say aside from that, I would say that unfortunately, once a guy makes a certain amount of money, he's got to be aware that, hey, there's a if you're already famous by the time you meet someone, there's a good chance, and I honestly hate to say it, I mean, there's a good chance that someone could have ulterior motives. So
Ulterior motives,
it's
one of my favorite words.
right. So I mean, it's just it's I see it more so as a fail safe. Like, okay, if this person's actually using me, I don't get burnt. But I mean, the thing is, I heard some other. Now, nothing is verified. I heard some other reasons why it broke up, but
Mhm,
again, until I get some sort of confirmation, I don't want to air it out there.
mhm.
But I'd say this
Just say
too.
allegedly.
Like, yeah, yeah. So they're saying allegedly they're saying Dak was cheating, and that completely split my attitude on this whole thing. I mean, with that allegation, but I'd say like, okay, I don't know who it's from, so I
Mhm,
got to cross check that one. But again, going back to it, I think generally speaking, ideally, you don't want to have to do that, but I understand why a lot of men do that. And it's not necessarily that his heart is with his money instead of his wife or his kids, but he feels okay if she decides to do something, in a similar route to what we saw happen to Tom Brady, he can protect himself.
mhm.
So that's how I feel it. So
So just
altogether,
one
it's unfortunate. Mhm.
one other perspective, and that
Yeah,
is that we hear over and over how athletes want to protect themselves in
right.
case, their significant other or the person they ultimately end up marrying, their spouse, their wife, uh, wants to get out and get after their money. But people don't talk about the perspective of the wife who's like, oh, sign a prenup agreement so you can go skip out on me whenever you feel. I mean, Tom the Bomb did some research on some prenup agreements that professional players wanted that, oh, the wife can't gain too much weight when she's pregnant. And oh, he can have sex with other women
That's
when
but
she's pregnant and so forth.
doc,
But all I'm saying is we all know that's a crazy thing. We all know that that's a crazy thing for a prenup, but the
It
perspective
happens.
of a spouse is, oh, does your prenup that protects you with your money also protect you from, hey, you don't have to keep your marital commitment. You could step out whenever you get tired, whenever you feel like, even though I done given you these kids and
Dr. Lauren,
take your money.
those are extreme cases.
No,
I'm
I
sure
agree with her 100%. I
that's
actually like.
extreme. I'm sure that what that was, and besides, the prenup is negotiated. So if it's not, who, what I wouldn't advise any
Well,
woman to sign a prenup with those type of
she
stipulations in it.
has a point. Now, I will say this: a lot of people who do get with athletes, unfortunately, if it's for the money and they don't have the same moral compass we do, they're willing to make that sort of negotiation. That's the thing. There are people out there that will do that, and that's more common than you do than any of us would like to believe. So she's right. So I would say that it is a nuanced thing. Unless I was in that room or I know what's on that paper, it's hard for me to make a solid judgment. I mean, I can have my own like predictions or my own ideas of what did happen based on, prior cases or my own fears or whatever. But I would say that in general, I mean, if it's something to her point, I would say that a good way to set it up is saying, like, okay, this protects you money wise in case she tries to do something. Then on the other end, it should say that, okay, he also has to hold up his end of the bargain. He's got to be good or whatever. He can't just split up, leave her with kids and, no support. So, I mean, I actually see both ends of this.
It'll be a topic of discussion for a long time. People be weighing in.
Well,
Let's keep rolling.
Oh, thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
we'll
Hey,
get some
gang.
sports from here on out.
Before we jump into our busy day of sports, last night, last night was the Oscars, and I'm happy to say that no one got smacked on stage. Okay. Michael B. Jordan took home the Oscar for Best Actor for his dual portrayal of Smoke and Stack in Sinners. Congratulations to Michael B. Jordan. MJ still getting it done. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jessie Buckley won the Oscar for Best Actress in Hamnet, which is she played Hamlet's wife. Okay. hadn't saw that one, so I can't really comment on that. But Jessie Buckley won the Oscar for Best Actress. Now, one battle after another won the Oscar for Best Picture. Now, I did see Sinners, and I liked Sinners, but I also saw one battle after another, and it was pretty good. They're totally different kind of movies, and I really don't think you can really compare them because they're just so different. But I can tell you that it was very very interesting, and had a lot of stars in it, and I enjoyed it. I probably liked Sinners more, but I definitely liked one battle after another, and I'm okay with that winning over Sinners and now the other Frankenstein and the others as well. Not a problem with that. Paul Thomas Anderson won the Oscar for Best Director, and he directed One Battle After Another. Okay, starting to be a trend here. Sean Penn won the Oscar for the Best Actor in a Supporting Role in One Battle After Another. And if you when you see the movie, boy, he's typical Sean Penn in this. He's just straight up wacko. I mean, this role was perfect for him. He almost had to win the Oscar from this role. So if you haven't seen it, it's typical Sean Penn at his craziest. Amy Magdalene won the Oscar for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for the movie Weapons. Down the bottom, haven't seen that one. And Ryan Coogler did win the Oscar for the best original screenplay. So kudos to him. But the big winner was One Battle After Another. It won 6 Oscars. Sinners won 4 Oscars, and Frankenstein won 3 Oscars. You guys have any comments on that at all?
Not necessarily. I'm not going to lie. Go ahead.
Okay,
I
go
think
Felix. Anything? If yay, no?
congrats. I really like the fact that movies that are social commentaries are being better they're being better respected. They're getting a larger audience. People are appreciating them for the art from which they are, and not just that, but they're actually taking genuine enjoyment. So it's something that I actually respect, and someone who has always drawn correlations between the plot to real life events. And furthermore, on a side note, shout out to Wayne Brady, who instead of going to the Oscars went to AEW All Elite Wrestling's pay per view last night. Fellow wrestling fan.
That's my guy, the Felix, the Renaissance man. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Hey, gang, it's time for our City of Champions update as the East St. Louis Flyers. I'm trying to tell you about the City of Champions, Felix. The East St. Louis Flyers added another state title to their trophy case as the Flyers boys basketball team defeated Deerfield Warriors 52 to 46 to bring back another state title to the City of Champions, proving that East St. Louis is not just a football factory. It's their first basketball state championship since 2019. And if you can remember, the Flyers won state titles in football, basketball, and boys and girls track and field in 2019. That's some kind of year, ain't it, Felix?
Yeah.
What a year. What a year. The Flyers used their superior length and quickness to win the Class 3A Illinois State Championship over Deerfield at the State Farm Center on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign, Illinois. Coach Mark Chambers said this team worked harder than any other team he's had, but like his 2019 state championship team, he said both teams just really loved to play and always played hard. It also helped that this year's team was so well balanced with four guys that could easily score 20 points a night if they were featured, legitimately going 9 deep on the bench. The balanced scoring kept opponents honest all year long, not being able to key on just one or two players. The Flyers finished the season with a 33-4 record with all of their scoring threats. It was the defense all year long that was the key to the Flyers' success, with the goal of keeping their teams between 40 and 50 points per game. Jamison White, son of former NBA player Jahadi White, at 6'8", put the Flyers over the top. The versatile big man scored a game high 19 points and grabbed 17 boards along with 3 block shots as he was an intimidator in the middle all game. Jamison will be attending Penn State in the fall on scholarship. White made the biggest plays of the game in a very, very tight game. In the closing minutes, he had a huge rebound and a putback that gave the Flyers a 50-46 lead with just 20 seconds left in the game. Right before that, though, he had another huge tip in to keep the lead and the momentum for the Flyers. The Flyers led the whole game, but it was close with Deerfield coming to within a single point on multiple occasions. The Flyers showed great maturity and tenacity, not panicking when Deerfield made their runs at the Flyers. Under athletic director and head football coach Darren Sunken's leadership, the Flyers sports programs have figured out scheduling. Scheduling at a nationally tough non conference schedule prepares the teams for conference and state competition. The national travel toughens the kids up for battles to come within the state. The Flyers lost only one game in the state of Illinois. The Flyers also got 14 points from Alex Johnson. Flyers guard uh, Terrion Webster scored 7 and did a great job of running the point and setting the tone for his team. Derice Johnson also added 6, and guard Philip Jones had 3. While both did a great job of handling the ball, but where they really shone was out on the defensive end of the court with multiple steals. Deerfield was led by Jake Polak's 15 and Evan Nagler's 13. Evan played a great game. He was going to the hole. He looked like a little baby bird. He was playing. He was handling himself. Hey guys, you guys got any comments on the Flyers at all? You guys want to comment on that?
I'd say it's just great management right there by the Flyers organization and multiple sports. They definitely take great detail, great care into everything that they do, regardless of what it is. And it's what you call a winning culture. Much
Hmm.
respect.
Hmm. Hmm. We need to get that in Washington. Troy, what? Troy?
Yeah, ditto, same thing. Good organizations, good programs know how to breed and get everything set up for the future.
Mhm.
And when you brought up a good point about 2019 about how much recognition the sports program brought
Mhm.
to their school, everybody that followed behind, got a chance to see that and got a chance to, recreate their image through that. So, congratulations.
Mhm. Winning is a culture, but so is losing. So it's so important. That's why the leadership is so important, man. Leadership is so important. And that has to be said at the top. So kudos to the Flyers program, the athletic director, Mark Chambers, the head basketball coach, and athletic director, Darren Sunken. Congratulations, Flyers. The city of champions just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. Hey gang, let me sneak a little NBA in here real quick. Hey, fellas, look, let's hit this real quick. Last week, I fell asleep and I dreamed that Bam Adebayo scored 83 points in an NBA game. And then I woke up and said, nah, yeah, I was just dreaming. Then I realized that the Miami Heat was playing the Washington Wizards. Then I said, well, maybe I might could get 20 against them. I wasn't dreaming. Bam made history last Tuesday, dropping 83, count them, 83 points against your Washington Wizards, Felix, passing Kobe Bryant's 81-point performance for second on the all-time list for most points in a single NBA game. My first thought went to the Wizards and not Bam. Shame, shame, shame. Oh, shame on you. with with the best game in league history, he was still with Bam's best game in league history. He was still 17 points short of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point performance in 1962. The only thing I'll add, if you had given me 100 chances to pick an NBA player that was going to score 80 points, I would have never ever guessed that it would have been Bam Adebayo. Felix, what's your thoughts on Bam?
So I'd say this: Bam, good player in his own right, but let's be honest. I mean, against the Wizards, I think the three of us could probably have had 83 apiece. I mean, but jokes aside, I would say that with the Wizards, I'm not even. Now, here's the thing: it is 100% on the Wizards. That's a given.
Mhm.
But it's 1 out of 82 games. These sort of things. Well, I usually say these sort of things happen, but
No,
let's
these
be
sort of
honest.
things don't happen.
I would say the Wizards. I'm still fairly confident in their ability to rebuild. I mean, the Wizards. People are talking about tanking. Maybe you could say that was the case to an extreme level, but I would definitely say that again. If not, the Wizards definitely need to look at some defensive strategies, some ways to revamp the defense, because I'm not going to lie to you, defense has been a weak point of this team, and it's not just a tanking thing, or it's not just something that they're doing now that they see the season's somewhat over, just about over. So,
I just think
yeah,
Washington needs to get an NBA team. That's what I think. Troy, what's your thoughts
I
on Bam
agree.
83?
Uh, Yeah, like you said, if you gave me chances to kind of figure out who would get that, my last thought process would be Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bam can score.
Right.
Bam is not a traditional big in
Mm-hmm.
the NBA. For him being as physical as he is, and for as well as he plays defense and finishes down low, he can spread the floor out. So it's just a testament to show how different basketball has changed over the years, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that kind of throws me off is two things really: 22 3-point attempts and 43 free throws in one game. That lets me know either he's just 10 times better than Alexander Sarr and their defense, or the Wizards just played piss poor and they're just obviously tanking.
Yeah. They would.
From a pride standpoint, I'm not letting you get 80
Right.
plus points on me.
Right. Right.
I don't care what I got to do to make that happen. We'll triple team you and
Right.
leave two people wide open before I let you drop 80 plus points on me. That's not happening.
Yeah.
The fact that he passed Kobe with those two free throws made me feel some type of way. Not gonna lie to you. Especially considering he had scored over 35 points from the free throw line. Kobe only made 18 free throws when he scored 81 against Jalen Rose and company. So I, I don't know, man. I mean, congratulations, but this don't really sit right to me.
Well, Troy, the Wizards were fouling him on purpose for a while, and that's why he had so many free throws. But his previously high in the NBA had been like 40 or 41 points. He had 31 in the first quarter. He had 31 in the first quarter. He scored 40. By halftime, he had 40, and then he came back in the second half and put another 40 on him. I guess he liked those 40s. Hey, fellas, the LA Fakers have won 5 in a row and now have moved into the second position in the West. Uh, with LeBron diving on the floor for loose balls. Does this mean anything, Troy?
Yeah, it means something. You got 15 games left in the regular season. You're starting to find your rhythm and identity as a squad. And it's clear LeBron, even though he's still getting big minutes, he's not the number one or number two guy. And
Mhm.
that's never been said throughout his entire career. So the fact that he's out there making hustle plays, playing that role of like energizer for
Mhm.
everybody else on the court, that's awesome to see.
Felix, what's your thoughts on the Lakers 5 game win streak?
So I'd say this Lakers team, as I've said, as much as we joke about them, this is a very competent, very talented, very dangerous team when they're making the right moves. So again, it's all going to come down to how they play in the playoffs. And again, when you're playing in the Western Conference, it's really you're going up against the best that basketball has to offer. It's going to be elite play from start to finish. So it's a matter of can the Lakers withstand? That's a great question. And not being able to, I hate to say it, in the West, that doesn't really say too much about your team not being good or anything. I also say about the Lakers, in my opinion, like we discussed last week, if they're bold enough to make the right adjustments, this is a team that could go to the finals.
You think? Wow.
I think so. If they're bold enough to make the right adjustments, because I think with their issue, it's that they have the talent. It's just not making the right decisions and getting the best out of the talent. So that's really what I think.
Well, one of the key themes for today in our program is defense still wins championships. And Luca's averaging over 30, and I think AR-15 Austin Reeves is averaging close to 30. So they got two guys averaging close to 30, but they really just aren't stopping anybody. And the reason I don't pay much attention to the NBA in the regular season is because nobody plays defense. But when the playoffs, when the playoffs start, those guys who ain't played defense all year long start playing defense. And that's where I think it's going to show up for the LA Fakers. Is they're not stopping anybody, but we will see. We will see. Let's move on to our
No,
next topic. Go
oh,
ahead. Go ahead.
never
Go
mind.
ahead, Troy. Go ahead.
I was going to say, tonight they play Houston, and both of them are basically tied up. I think the Lakers are third and Houston's fourth.
Yep. Yep.
Nobody wants to play Denver in the first round. So I think with Denver being at the fifth seed right now, the Lakers got to find a way to keep this momentum going, so that way they can, set themselves up to make a run. And I think the way that they're playing it again, LeBron's sitting back and letting them young guys do their thing. So hopefully they can win a championship, but we'll see.
Okay, I think I just lost you, Troy. Hold on. Okay.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You good?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, we're back. Okay. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Look, listen, Max Crosby. Let's talk about the Max Crosby trade fiasco. The Ravens motivation and the NFL reactions. Okay. Troy and Felix, I'm gonna go first on this one. Look, plain and simple, the Ravens GM, Eric DeCosta, had buyer's remorse. That's the bottom line. Buyer's remorse. There's no way I'm buying because he flunked the physical. They vetoed the trade. Max was 1 week out of a cast from a surgery 8 weeks earlier on his meniscus. Of course, he wasn't ready for a physical. And the Ravens knew that before they initiated the trade on Friday. Let me keep it 100. Here's what happened. Everyone was talking about how the Raiders now have the number one pick and the 14th pick overall in the 2026 NFL draft, and then Baltimore's number one pick in 2027. It's just like, listen to this, Phil. It's just like in the movie Draft Day, starring Kevin Costner. There's a line in the movie that says, someone always looks like a donkey the day after the draft, and you don't want to be wearing those horns. Okay. That's what the Ravens GM Eric DeCosta was worried about. You pancake eating, you know what? For those of you who've seen the movie, okay, then 24 hours later, he shocked the Ravens nations and the Raiders and the other 30 teams in the NFL by backing out of their trade agreement for Crosby. And Adam Scheffler, with his bootlicking covering it up for him on all of the national sports talk shows, talking about, you don't know what the doctor saw in that examination. Come on, man. They saw Trey Henderson at 4 years at 112 million contract. And nobody's talking about, listen to this, nobody's talking about that Trey Henderson is coming off an injury also. And both of their number one picks back. Man, that was straight out of the movie Draft Day. And I want my number one picks back and this team's future. That's straight out of the movie. Felix and Troy, what do you guys think?
I'm so glad you brought this up because speaking of the physical, I knew something was fishy when they said he didn't pass his physical because I wasn't even thinking that number one, it was a very oddly timed one because he just had a surgery. But I'm sure you guys remember there was a guy named Albert Hainsworth who played for Washington some time ago, right? So I'm going to say this: when he failed his physical, like, and he did come out years later and said that he had some kidney issue. I mean, we didn't know this until very recently. Maybe that contributed. But I remember there was a news anchor from Fox 5 DC. She ran through the physical. Mind you, this is a news anchor. She's possibly let's just be honest, not someone who's athletic in an NFL level.
Mhm.
So she did the physical, she passed. It's not very hard to pass, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
The NFL physicals, they're mainly just trying to say, can you run back and forth without you having a medical emergency? That's really what it is. So the fact that Max Crosby failed that physical, and I didn't even consider the surgery part, that seems very fishy because again, the physical is not very demanding. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to say being an NFL player isn't at all, but the physical is mainly just to make sure, hey, is it a natural threat to your life for you to run back and forth? That is really it. So if he failed that one again, that's another angle to it. I think this whole thing is fishy.
Troy?
I think it's smart.
Okay.
I think we
Okay.
thinking too deep into it, man. I'm thinking about it this way: you got your first round pick for this year and next year back. You still got a Pro Bowl edge rusher in Trey Hendrickson, and you got a guy that's coming from Cincinnati that played with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and all those guys. So I'm looking at it as they still got what they needed. They got their pick back, and they got a guy that's in the division. So as much as I would have liked Max Crosby to go, it's not like they, settled for anything. They didn't. You don't settle for Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson was in the conversation with T.J. Watt and Miles Garrett earlier this season. You get what I'm saying?
I
So
get what you're
it's
saying.
like, ultimately, you still get value. You still get your piss back.
Troy, that's a great point. So let's go ahead. Listen to this. Okay, so 20 different NFL front office figures spoke under and help me out, Lori.
The condition of anonymity.
Anonymity because of the sensitive nature said. So here's what the front office people are saying undercover. It definitely feels like buyer's remorse. Another executive from another team saw the Ravens move as more calculating. That's what you're saying, Troy. The move was more calculating. With that being said, in their yearly blind anonymous voting done by all executives around the NFL, they have voted the Ravens front office ranked as number one in 2024 and number two in 2025. So there's a fine line between being shrewd and deceptive. But most agents, executives, and coaches have referred to the Baltimore rescinding its trade offer as bad business. Okay. Sources noted that anything discovered in the Ravens' separated medical evaluation of Max Crosby's shouldn't have surprised them. The whole league at large has known the details of Max Crosby's meniscus surgery since mid February. NFL teams are allowed to exchange medical information during the negotiation process. One senior executive with another team said that the typical transparent collaboration between medical personnel across teams represent the one place in the NFL where there is honor amongst thieves. Lastly, if something is found in a physical, teams can choose to renegotiate the terms of the trade if they find something concerning during a physical, i.e., draft picks, money, becoming conditional. When the Ravens GM Eric DeCosta was asked this question, he wouldn't answer it directly. If the Ravens tried to renegotiate, he did not answer that question. Felix, what's your thoughts on that?
Hmm. That's I think that tells you everything right there if they don't when someone doesn't answer directly. So the Ravens GM, when asked about the situation, did not answer directly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Troy, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Uh, it's bogus. Hold on one second. Yeah, it's bogus. I look at this as the excuse. There's no excuse. They can use the physical all they want to, but we all know that he wasn't really 100% when he came over here anyway. But again, it's smart. So in his mind, he's thinking, look, I don't gotta explain myself. When the season comes around and we have our picks back and we still get production, I want everybody to keep the same energy. So I look at it as it is bad on Max Crosby's part,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately the date that the Baltimore Ravens won it answered the call after they already committed to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on them for making that change.
The bottom line is all of the NFL is not happy with this. This is like they said, this is bad business, and I think this is going to hurt the Ravens in the future. That's what I think. Felix, you got one last thought before we close out on that?
Yeah, I actually agree because the fact of the matter is when you make an agreement, you don't just go back on it. So I think they're going to make a definite rule change. It's going to come out of this. I don't know if they directly punish the Ravens or they subtly do it. You know how businesses work. But I definitely think that there's a rule change. And let's be honest, if we tried any of this in our fantasy leagues, we'd be kicked out, no questions asked.
Yeah, if that won't work in fantasy, that ain't supposed to work in the NFL. Hey, real quick, let's wrap up on this before we go to the break. The Washington Command, Troy, Felix, you and I had a conversation earlier in the week, and I say, Felix, I'm really excited about what Washington is doing in free agency, and you didn't seem to be pleased. Let's talk about what Washington has done in the last week in free agency. Go, Felix.
So I'm going to say this. I looked at what we need on the team and I thought to myself, I like the front seven. I like the offense, except, okay, we need a number two receiver, then maybe a tight end. Well, that's something that you could do later. And I was thinking, but first off, we need corners. Just get the corners. And we weren't doing that. And I saw, okay, we signed defensive linemen. And I'm like, okay, good. Because we're looking at it this way. Deron Payne's leaving soon, and we need some depth at the position. I'm open to it. Then I see the linebacker acquisition from Kansas City.
Mhm.
Really like that one. Really like the linebacker
Really
depth.
like
And
that.
I'm thinking to myself, why don't we sign any corners? We signed one. That was it. And then after a while, I thought about it, and I thought to myself, Minnesota last year, mind you, our new defensive coordinator, Durante Jones, who happens to be a Prince George's County native, when he ran the Minnesota Vikings defense last year, he held opposing offenses to 159 points per game on average, meaning there are a lot of games where they had less than that.
You mean yards?
He held opposing, huh?
You mean yards?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Yikes. Those
yeah,
would be
yeah.
crazy.
Hey, if he held him to
Thanks.
159 points, I don't think he would have kept his job.
Yeah, thanks for catching that one. Then, in terms of pass percentage, get this: opposing quarterbacks had a pass percentage of 48% on average, meaning there's some games that the opposing quarterbacks do for less. So here's the thing: I'm looking at the Minnesota Vikings defense. They don't really have all-star defensive backs for the most part. Yeah, they're very talented, but these aren't necessarily game breakers. So I'm looking at the way he set it up. It's mainly a pass rush heavy defense that sets up zone traps or what have you that allow the defensive backs to do what they do the best way that they can. So I'm thinking from that aspect, I can defend what the Commanders did. I still wish that I still don't excuse them for not signing defensive backs. I feel like they could have done more with that. They did sign a safety, which was okay, and I really like the fact that they signed a wide receiver and a tight end. Those are two positions I was concerned about. So overall, I feel like the Commanders checked every box.
Mhm.
The only except for one, that was the one I deemed most important. But even for that one, I can somewhat excuse it, even though I think, yeah, I'll say this. This free agency wasn't optimal in my opinion, but I can actually see what they were trying to do.
Well, Felix, don't panic. They aren't done. And Nick Cross is a dog. Troy, what was your thoughts on Washington's free agency so far?
This is the one time in a long time where I'm actually disagreeing with Felix because
Wow.
I adore this free agent
Hmm.
period. Okay, here,
I do too.
let's go through it.
I
We
agree.
talked about the corner position. They picked up Meek Robinson on a 2-year deal,
Mhm.
right? So you get somebody from Detroit, bigger corner, put him opposite side, Trey
And he's
Amos,
a
and
thumper too.
Mike Sanders. Yeah, and you can
He's
put Mike Sanders still on the slot. I love that. Then you go get Nick Cross. Now, this is why I love this.
that's the
Nick Cross is
dog.
still young. Nick Cross is a Maryland bred guy.
Yep.
Nick Cross runs a 4.340,
Mhm.
right? So you put him at free safety at 6'1", 6'2", with that speed, like Felix, you play, man. You know how fast dude
Mhm.
is, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
when you see that, it opens the gate. So, okay, we don't really have quote unquote needs in the draft, which means then we can take the best available player and make a strength that we already have even stronger, right? So when I look across the board, Leo Chanel, great signing, Rashad White, former
Mhm.
teammate of Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. They're talking about going to get Brandon Ayuk in the near future when San Francisco lets him go,
Mhm.
right? You look at Odofe Owe, right? You across the board, we attack the defensive backfield. We got linebacker depth. We got defensive end edge rushing depth. We got two running backs, and not only Rashad White, but Jerome Ford as well
Yep.
from Cleveland,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
I'm looking at it as across the board, we got Chigga Conquo, another Maryland guy that's very underrated because he played in a terrible Tennessee system. When draft day comes, if Jeremiah Love is available, you take Jeremiah Love.
Well,
If
that was gonna be my next question for you guys. That
okay,
at number 7, do you take Sonny, the linebacker out of Ohio State? If Jeremiah Love is there and Sonny, who do you take? Jeremiah Love or the linebacker out of Ohio State, Troy?
Jeremiah Love.
Felix, who do you take? Jeremiah or the
Yeah,
linebacker out of Ohio State?
100%.
Who?
Jeremiah Love, 100%.
Okay. You know, Felix, I'd hate to be in your classroom because you're a real hard grader, my friend. you, you grade them really, really tough, man. And here's the thing: it's not over. They still need another receiver. They still need more defensive back. It's not over, but up until this point, like I was trying to tell you, I think they get an A plus. So far, what grade would you give them, Troy, so far?
I'll give them an A, and when they get Brandon Ayuk, it's going to be an A plus.
Well, Felix, what grade were you giving the Commanders right now? Right now,
It's a very high B.
He's
Like
a
you
hard,
said,
he's a hard grader,
hard grader.
boy. I don't know if I want to be in Mr. Bassey's class. I heard he grades hard. I'm cutting your class, Felix. Hey, gang, let's take a break and then we'll be right back.
Window Nation is on the Morgan's home turf to huddle up about replacing their drafty old windows.
This free estimate is showing how easy it is to tackle the problem.
We can get any of these windows custom made.
Yes, you can get the quality and style you really want.
And at a more affordable price than they ever imagined.
Now that they've sealed the deal, they'll be saving money year-round.
We're really confident with Window Nation.
Get your free estimate today and get 60% off all windows plus no interest or payments for 24 months at getwindownation.com.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and satiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja golf course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
All righty, and we're back. The Dominican Republic versus the United States in baseball. Man, man, I love baseball. It's the culture of the Dominican Republic 5-0 versus the USA 4-1. Pastime, Americans pastime. Baseball, apple pie, Chevrolet, Corvette. Okay, the DR has destroyed everyone that they've played, where the players sing to the fans and the fans sing back to the players. A culture that revolves around the enjoyment of life. That culture of baseball in the DR, while Team USA is very businesslike, they know how good they are and probably the most talented roster of all time. And they've been coasting and not firing on all cylinders, but seemingly laying in the cut for the team from the Dominican Republic. Well, here you go, big boy. Be careful what you ask for. The DR lineup is the scariest lineup I've ever seen. And if you could pick any pitcher to face them, it would be the USA starter, Paul Skeens. It's an incredible collection of all stars. So let's get into the game. Man, I love baseball, and it was amazing to see all of these great hitters and sluggers on both sides. And no matter how good they are, no matter how good they are, good pitching beats good hitting every time. It's not just a cliche because defense wins championships. And in baseball, defense starts on the mound. We just saw Yamamoto of the Dodgers dominate the World Series. Well, the USA advanced to the WBC championship in a thrilling nail biter over the Dominican Republic in 2-1 in a serious pitching duel with all of these explosive hitters on both sides. Junior Caminero opened the scoring in the bottom of the second as he lifted a hanging sweeper off starting pitcher Paul Skeens over the left field wall for a 1-0 lead. The U.S. team responded quickly in the fourth when Gunnar Henderson answered back, blasting a Luis Severino cutter over the right center field wall to tie the game. And then Red Sox second-year man Roman Anthony who's about to be a superstar before our very eyes, closed out the scoring by hammering a 3-2 sinker off reliever Gregory Soto 421 feet to dead center field to close out the scoring. The 2-1 margin was all Team America needed. After getting a lot of heat for his mismanaging in the game against Italy, but Sunday night the manager, he was Picasso, pulling all the right strings by benching Bregman and starting Gunnar Henderson in the first place, and then benching the big dumper Cal Riley and going with the hitting Will get jiggy with it Smith, and he made the right pitching moves in the relief of Paul Skeens. Team USA's bullpen didn't allow a single run and pitched out of danger all night long. The Dominican Republican bats went cold at the wrong time, but good pitching will cool off hot bats. The Dominican Republic was the leading the WBC in every offensive category, and they were averaging 10 runs per game. But the U.S. Arms shut them down. And after the second inning dinger by Caminero, the Dominican Republic went 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. All in all, the game definitely lived up to the hype. It was the game that everyone wanted to see, and it did not disappoint. It was a tense playoff type atmosphere from the opening pitch to the last strike. Every pitch and every swing felt important. Kind of like a good, really good basketball game where every possession is important. Felix, what did you think of the game with the U.S. and the DR?
So I would say that first off, it was an excellent game. You covered all bases, no pun intended, with that one. But I would also say that I would also say it kind of highlights how much the game has grown. I mean, you'd think a sport that originated in the US, that was mainly popular in the US before it got into other places, the American team would dominate. But it's to a point where Team USA, you don't know who's going to win when Team USA goes up against someone because guess what? These other countries, they're training just as hard, you know, with the sport. They're growing up with the sport the same way America has, and that's becoming more and more common around the world. We're seeing baseball tournaments, baseball national teams literally in every continent. So it's a beautiful thing to see the growth and expansion of the game. So I would say that on a side note, outside the game itself, but it's just again, it's something I like to see more people getting opportunities to shine doing what they love.
These national teams are hungry, man. I mean, I couldn't believe how good Venezuela's lineup was, Italy, and they're hungrier than the guys in the U.S. But I think the U.S. is starting to get embarrassed by Japan and some of the other countries winning the WBC every year. So this year was the first year that all of the top American players came and played for the USA team. In the past, they hadn't been doing that, but I think they just kind of started to get it. Like Felix, like we talked about, it's almost kind of like uh, the United States losing basketball game to another country. Basketball is supposed to be the American sport, and they're not supposed to lose to Russia or Lithuania. Well, it's the same thing for baseball, but hey, man, Japan has been dominating the WBC. So to watch Venezuela beat them, that was huge. So great game. It was really really exciting. I was loving it. It was like World Series baseball in March. Let's move on. The Purdue Boilermakers upset the heavy favorite Michigan Wolverines in the Big Ten tournament final just before the brackets were announced. Purdue and its standout point guard Braden Smith headed into the NCAA tournament on a hot streak, winning the Big Ten tournament and winning their last 8 games. The same Purdue squad that had lost 5 times at home this season needed a trip to the Windy City to find its mojo again. The Boilermakers reeled off 4 wins in 4 days to seize the Big Ten title, the fourth win being the most impressive of them all over number one seeded Michigan Wolverines. Braden Smith had 14 points and 11 assists, and he shredded Michigan's vaunted defense in Sunday's 80-72 victory. It's just the second time that the Wolverines has lost to a Big Ten opponent this season. Braden Smith was surgical, finishing just 2 assists short of Duke's Bobby Hurley's record for the most assists in college basketball history. Senior guard Fletcher Lawyer brought back big game Fletch with 14 points and 5 assists and 4 rebounds. Senior forward Trey Kaufman Wren was a menace in the paint with 20 points, and big man Oscar Cliff added 21 points and was up for the challenge against Michigan's gargantuan front line. When you get to this time of the year, seniors are so important on your team. Michigan's coach Dusty May said, "We'll use this loss as a learning experience to get ready for the NCAA tournament." Purdue became the first number 7 seed to win the Big Ten tournament championship in its history. After being tied 38-38 at halftime, Purdue pulled away with a 24-11 run to start the second half. Michigan had a chance to win back-to-back Big Ten titles, just like the quarterback in football. In basketball, a basketball team can go only as far as the point guard takes them. And Michigan's point guard, Elliot Cadeau, is the weak link on this Wolverine team. And the Wolverines don't cut the nets down and win at all. It's going to be because of Cadeau. And if they do win, it's going to be because of Elliot Cadeau. He played a brilliant first half with 8 assists and 7 points. But I'd like to see him get the ball to their superstar Yaxel Lindenborg more, especially down the stretch. Come on, man, down the stretch, you got to get a ball to your best player. The thing that's going to hurt though the Michigan Wolverines in the big dance is filling the void of backup point guard L.J. Kaysen, who tore his ACL late in the season. They haven't been dominant like they before early in the season since he got hurt. They played the last 5 games without him. Also, he took a lot of weight off Elliot Cadeau. Purdue's pick and roll game, they pick and roll the Wolverines to death. They ran the same play over and over and over. And a Michigan, who's a great defensive team, they just didn't adjust. Maybe it was just an off night, but they now have a chink in their armor. They'll have to lean heavy on that strong front line. Troy, what's your take on Purdue upsetting Michigan and get Michigan getting back for the tournament, Troy?
One thing I'll say about Purdue, they know they got a real balanced system. You know, they'll shoot the ball, but they don't settle for jump. They don't settle for jump shots.
Mhm.
So one thing I like is that they run off screen plays for Lawyer to get him open threes like Klay Thompson used to do in Golden State. Right?
Mhm.
If he can get going early, it kind of sets the tone to kind of be like, okay, we can really get to the rim now because they have to commit more to playing more on the perimeter. I think that's going to help them going in the dance because when you're dynamic outside and inside, it gives you it gives you an advantage. Now, another thing I'll say is that with Purdue, they they found a way to get up early on Michigan. They were up 14 with like 12 minutes left in the second half at one point, 60-46. And I'm looking at it as if they can find ways to get games out the way quick in this tournament to where they can rest their guys for the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight and the Final Four. I think that's really going to help them get to the next level and possibly become the champions this year.
Well, Purdue and Wisconsin are the 2 teams out of the Big Ten where their game translates into the big dance. The other teams, they all choke. Felix, what's your thoughts on Michigan and Purdue? Felix, you there?
Oh, sorry about that. My audio was off. So, you guys can hear me now, right?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So, as I was saying, I think this is just your usual March Madness upset. This sort of thing happens. I mean, but I would say this isn't really too big of a. I wouldn't say that this is really a monumental one. Like, Purdue's a few games better. I mean, Michigan's a few games better than Purdue, really. And of course, it was a close matchup. Purdue, like you said, they outmatched them in certain ways. But I wouldn't even say that this came as too big of a surprise, in my opinion. I mean, if you kind of pick up on certain things such as opponent strength, so on and so forth, I give credit to Purdue right now, right?
Mhm.
I give credit to what they're doing, but at the same time, like I said, this is when you can afford to still lose games, right? Earlier on, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Now that the tournament's not anymore, you can't. It's one and done. We're down to one and done now, pal.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, I would say at this point, I would say, of course, that would be the case earlier on, but I'd say, hey, for next year's tournament, Michigan definitely has something to build on. But upsets like this, people getting eliminated at this point in the tournament, still not really a big shocker.
Well, it is your last chance to use. Well, look, guys, it's finally here. Tom the Bomb's favorite time of the year, favorite sporting event of the year. The men's 2026 NCAA tournament brackets are officially out, and March Madness is on like popcorn and Donkey Kong. So, we're just not going to have time to go through all of it. Plus, it's just getting started. I just want to talk about the top seeds. So let's the number one seeds. Um, Duke got the overall number one seed. Arizona got the number two seed. Michigan got the number three seed, and Florida slipped in for the number four seed. You guys okay with those number one seeds?
Yes, Duke got a Duke got a hard road ahead of them.
Hmm.
Felix, you okay with those number one seeds?
Those are solid.
Okay, everybody, everybody. When I watch the experts on the sports shows, they're all so high on Florida, and Florida kind of stumbled in their tournament like Michigan did. What are you guys seeing from Florida that I seem to be missing? Because we know Florida is the defending NCAA champions. What are you guys seeing from Florida that I'm missing? Anything? Hello, I think we lost them.
Mm,
Yeah, what do
I
you
would
what are you guys seeing out of Florida? Because I'm not. I'm not feeling Florida, but people are picking Florida to cut the nets down. What are you guys seeing in Florida?
One thing go ahead, Felix.
no, you.
So I really watched Florida too much this year,
Hmm.
but one thing I'll say is that their program is built to, last in these type of tournaments. You used to seeing them in the Elite Eight, in the Sweet 16, right? So even in the Final Four, going back to 2007 when they had they run with Joakim Noah and and company. But anyway, point being is that they're a winning program. So I feel as if when you're playing in a big tournament like that, composure, leadership, qualities that a school has in their athletes, I think it's going to shine.
Felix, you got anything on Florida?
Yeah, I would say Florida has been an up and coming team for the past few years, and I think people are just seeing how certain teams are trending. It's not 100% about who's the better team, as you saw with Purdue and Michigan. Sometimes, if there's not too much of a difference, it's really a toss up. It's 50-50 because we've seen teams ranked far lower get sets on teams that are ranked way higher. So I would say with Florida, you see strength, and you also look at the remaining teams' strength of opponent. That's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of these teams, their set of opponents are vastly different from one another. So it's hard to really compare them one to one based off of win-loss records. So I would say that's the main reason why. I would say that's a big reason why you pick any school to win. You really can't go off of raw wins and losses, especially in college.
Mhm. Well, the one thing I do know about Florida is they probably have the best coach. That guy can flat out coach. He's kind of like Purdue. They're very, very well coached, and they're prepared for the tournament. So I really do like Florida's coach. That's the one thing I do know about him. Let's get to the number seeds real quick. At number five, we got UConn. Number six, Purdue jumped up to number six after knocking off Michigan. Iowa State comes in at seven, and Houston comes in at number eight. Now, me personally, I don't think any team that's out of the top three seeds can win the tournament. So let me get to the three seeds, and then let's talk about who we think could actually win it. The number three seeds at number nine, we got Michigan State. Number 10, we got Gonzaga. Number 11, we got Virginia. And number 12, we had Illinois. Who do you guys like out of those 12 teams? Who do you guys like being in the Final Four? Give me a Final Four pick early, and we'll come back to this in the following weeks. Who do you like in the Final Four, Troy?
Virginia.
In the Final Four? Oh, wow. Okay, who else?
Oh, you talking about at the okay, my bad. Okay. So
No, your Final Four. Who do you of these 12? I think the national champion is coming out of the top 12 seeds. I don't think anybody below 12 is going to win the national championship. That's what I'm saying. So out of these
mhm.
12 teams, the four number ones, the four number twos, and the four number threes, who do you guys like in your Final Four before the tournament kicks off? Let's get this down.
Okay. I'll say Duke.
Hmm.
I'll say Michigan.
Okay.
Again, Virginia. Is Virginia in the same? I don't think they're in the same bracket as Michigan. I can't remember.
They're 3 seed.
Yeah, I said Virginia.
Mhm.
And uh Houston.
Okay, I like Houston. Felix, be quicker than Troy.
So 4 teams you said again?
Yeah, what's your final four? Who you like in the final four before the tournament even kicks off?
I have to be honest with you. I mean,
You're not going to be quicker than Troy. I got you.
I'm not.
And a hard grader on top of
It's a
that.
thinker. It's a thinker.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me just ask you that. That is a tough one. Who do you think, before the tournament starts, who do you think is going to win it all?
Before the tournament started, who do I think is going to win it all? I would say coming into this, I was thinking, now this sounds very basic, but I was thinking maybe Connecticut.
Okay. Okay. Well, they're another one of those teams that is very, very well coached. And at this time of the year, I think the things that first of all, it's a guards tournament. The best guards are going to win. The second of all, coaching really, really matters now. So UConn has the guards, they have the coaching. So that's not a bad pick. I think it might be Houston's time. They've got the guards, at Cuff, they've got the guards, they've got the coaching. I think it might be Kelvin Sampson's time, at Houston. I like Houston, but I think like Troy, I think Duke's going to be in the Final Four. I think Michigan's going to be there. I think Houston will be there, and I think Arizona will be there. That's who I like: Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and Houston. And I think Houston can win. But I'm going to tell you, my dark horse is going to be Purdue. Don't sleep on Purdue. They can be there. All righty, let's get to our next topic. We'll come back. The NCAA tournament is just kicking off, so we're gonna get to this as the weeks go on. We're gonna get to this in the next couple of weeks for sure. Let me get through my notes. What's our next stop?
The PGA,
Okay.
PPC Players
All
Championship.
right, there we go. There we go. Let me see if I can get it to come up. Already. Well, I can tell you, Cam Young won the 2026 PGA tournament. It was his. Let me get you. Yeah, he claims the biggest victory of his career in the 2026 Players Championship, and a come from behind effort. Like I said, it's his second PGA Tour victory. Cameron Young capitalized on Ludwig Eberg's late struggles to win at TPC Sawgrass on Sunday. He took advantage of Ludwig Eberg's implosion, and he outdoed Matt Fitzpatrick with the final round of 68 to capture the unofficial fifth major on the PGA Tour. Young fell out of the last pairing after making a double bogey on the 18th hole on Saturday, but he got redemption down the closing stretch at TPC Sawgrass on Sunday, trailing Fitzpatrick by one stroke as they arrived at the 17th tee. Cameron Young hit the clutch shot of the round, feeding his ball down the slope to up to 10 feet before he rolled the birdie in that sent the crowd around the island green into a frenzy. Cam Young birdied the treacherous par 3 17th hole 3 times during this tournament, Troy. He birdied 17 3 times. Then he came to the equally intimidating 18th tee shot with water all the way down the left side. And after hitting his ball in the water on Saturday to get that double bogey on the 18th, now holding a share of the lead at 13 under, Cameron piped a 375-yard drive that carried all of the danger and set him up with just a 98-yard wedge shot, Troy, to the green. And anyone that's ever played golf, you know what it's like to have that hit after a guy hits a shot like that in front of you. Fitzpatrick finally blinked and flared his tee shot into the trees and was forced to pitch out short of the green. And then that set the stage for Cameron Young to throw a wedge to the back edge of the green for a 15-foot birdie putt, for a 15-foot birdie putt to win it. He missed it, but he tapped in for par into the wind. And then Young cozied, like I said, he cozied up his birdie putt for par. And then he watched Fitzpatrick missed an 8-footer for par to give Young a one-stroke victory. Young didn't share the lead until the 17th hole on Sunday, and he didn't lead the tournament until the 72nd hole, the last hole on Sunday. His second win now announces his presence with authority and as a legitimate big game hunter. Now, as he took home his first place check of $4.5 million. Matt Fitzpatrick, for coming in second, he gets 2.7 million. Xander Schauffele finished third. He gets 1.7 million. Robert McIntyre finished fourth. He gets 1.2 million. And I got to throw this in there, Felix. Uh, Takumi Kanya, he finished last, Felix. He finished last. And for 4 days, he's leaving with 49,750 bucks for finishing last for 4 days' work. Say it with me. Get your kids out playing golf. They need to go see Troy at Golf Tech. And Troy got a lot of young golfers coming up at Golf Tech, don't you, Troy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, gang, it's time for our segment of the show called the Tom the Bomb Sportsman of the Week. We're a sports talk show from a Christian point of view, and our theme has always been, do you want to win at all costs? Because sometimes you win, but you lose, and sometimes you lose, but you win. So how we win and lose in life truly matters. Hey, gang, March is National Women's Month. Don't know if you knew that. And our Tom the Bomb Sportsman of the Week is Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams, she made history as the first Black Miss America. 10 months later, she was forced to resign in scandal. 30 years later, the Miss American pageant apologized to her. Here's why that apology mattered. September 17th, 1983, in Atlantic City, when Vanessa Williams was crowned Miss America, she shattered a barrier that had stood for 63 years. She was the first Black woman to win the title, a landmark achievement in an American still grappling with civil rights progress. The crown carried honor, expectation, and a historic weight. 10 months later, it all came crashing down before pageants. Before pageant, Vanessa was a young woman trying to make her way in New York while working as a photographer's assistant. She posed for, and I'm just going to say, artistic photos. Okay, the photographer. You like the way I said that? Artistic photos. The photographer promised anonymity. He had he her identity wouldn't be. He said he was going to protect her identity, and she trusted him. That trust cost her big time. In the summer of 1984, Penthouse magazines acquired the photos. They recognized the reigning Miss America, and they planned a sensational headline: Miss America, oh God, she's nude. Playboy had declined and turned the images down out of respect. But Penthouse saw scandal, Penthouse saw sales, and they ran with it. The Miss America organization learned of the impending publication, and they gave Vanessa a choice that wasn't really a choice: resign quietly or face public stripping of the title. On July 23rd, 1984, just 10 months into her reign, Vanessa Williams resigned. She was 21 years old. The media frenzy was brutal. Headlines screamed scandal. Commentators moralized. The public was divided. Okay. I remember this. I was in high school. Vanessa told the Associated Press, I think it's a violation of my rights. It's obviously my own fault, but I trusted the photographer. I had never made any agreement with him or Penthouse. Her words captured the heartbreak, it captures the betrayal, exploited and humiliated at 21 years old. For many, this would have been the end, but Vanessa refused to let it define her. She pivoted to music, releasing a platinum debut album in 1988, and she scored massive hits, including uh, That's Why We Saved the Best for Last, which topped the billboards for 5 weeks in 1992. She transitioned into acting, starring on Broadway and in television with hits like Ugly Betty and Desperate Housewives. We know how big that was, earning a Grammy, an Emmy, and a Tony nomination along the way, as well as a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Still, acknowledgement of the injustice was missing until 2015, 31 years later. The Miss America CEO, Sam Haskell, officially issued a public apology, speaking with Vanessa as a head judge at the pageant. He said, Though none of us currently in the organization was involved then, but on behalf of today's organization, I want to apologize to you and your mother. That's huge. To you and your mother for anything that made you feel any less than the Miss America you are and always will be. With tears streaming down her face, Vanessa's face, as the audience stood and applauded, the apology was decades overdue. But it was more than words, it was recognition that Vanessa had been wronged. Vanessa Williams' story matters because it shows resilience, transformation, and the power to reclaim your narrative. She was betrayed, she was humiliated, and forced out of history. Yet she rebuilt a career spanning music, theater, and television. She proved that one scandal cannot define a life. The first Black Miss America, forced to resign at 21 years old, rebuilt an extraordinary career, received an apology 3 decades later. But the real story isn't the scandal or the apology, it's what Vanessa built in between: artistry, achievement, and dignity that outshone any crown. Tom the Bomb Sportsman of the Week is the incomparable Vanessa Williams. Hey, gang, let's get to our trivia question today. Already, our trivia question is: who was the last men's team to lose back to back NCAA basketball championship games? Which one of you guys want to try that? Felix? Can't hear you, Felix.
Oh, sorry. Was it Georgetown in the 80s?
Georgetown in the 80s. That's a good guess, but that's not correct. Troy, you want to take a shot at it?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna say Michigan.
Michigan. That's a really, 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 really good guess, but it's not right. But that's a really good guess. The answer is Butler. In 2010 and 2011, under coach Brad Stevens, they lost to the Duke Blue Devils 61-59 in 2010. And then again, they lost to the Connecticut Huskies 53-41 in 2011. The other teams to lose back-to-back national championships was the Ohio State Buckeyes in 1961 and 1962. And just for the old heads out there, John Havlicek and Bobby Knight played on that team for Ohio State. The other team was the Houston Cougars in 1983 and 84. That was Phi Slamma Jamma. You guys remember that? Phi Slamma Jamma? And then Troy, great guest, Michigan's Fab Five in 1992 and 1993. So that was a very good guess, Troy, but they weren't the last team. The last team was Butler in 2010 and 2011. That's something to go back to back in the national championship game. Hey guys, let's get to our birthday shout outs. I got to say happy birthday to my big brother, almighty Nate Nat Wood. Happy birthday, Nate. Man, we love you, man. You've been such a important person in my life. I've stood on your shoulders for so long. You and Graham have been the only heroes that I've ever had in my life. As much as I love sports, the only heroes that I ever had in my life was my mama and my big brother, Nat Wood. Thank you, Nat, for being more than a big brother to me, man. I could never ever repay you, so I'll just try to pay it forward. That's why I'm working with Felix and Troy. But thank you. Happy birthday, Nate. I love you. And my other brother, Donald. Happy birthday, Don. Happy birthday, Don Wood. Donald Wood. Happy birthday. We also got Pep, Patrick Smith Jr. Hey, it's Pep's birthday today, too, as well. So, man, we got birthdays all around, man. So we just want to wish all you guys happy birthday. May the gates of heaven open and pour out abundance of blessing down on you that there won't be room enough to contain it. Tom the Bomb getting in his bag. Happy birthday, Nate. Happy birthday, Donald. Happy birthday, Pep. We love you guys. And happy birthday to Pat Gray. Let's slip that in there. Pat Gray had a birthday on the 14th. Happy birthday, Pat. My boys, my two best friends, both of them named Pat. Isn't that a coincidence? Did you have anything else for me? Okay. Hey, gang, that's our show for today. As usual, Felix and Troy, you guys were excellent. You guys were on the spot. Thank you very much, guys. We love you guys. You guys stay on because Dr. Lauren's got something we got to tell you. We got to talk after, so don't hang up after the show. Hey, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube and hit that like bell, please. If you're enjoying the content and you'd like to bless our ministry, you can sow into the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk by cash apping us at $Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. Again, that's $Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. You can also email us at info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, for a dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Saturdays on WBGR with my main man, Mr. Felix Bassey. His future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We don't take that for granted. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour out an abundance of blessings down on you that there won't be room enough to contain it as you live off the overflow and step boldly into the realm of grace. God wants to introduce you to abundance. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day, not necessarily a Thursday, just for you. Hey, gang, Tom the Bomb wants to leave you with a thought. Duct tape may patch a lot of things, but 3 nails fixed everything. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. May God bless you guys. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you next week on this same bat time, on this same bat station. You guys have a good evening. Enjoy the games tonight. There's going to be some kind of game on. You guys have a good evening. Felix, Troy?
Gina's interview.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey,
Yes.
coming up on Wednesday, like we told you guys that it's March is Women's Month. We're having Gina Green on Wednesday on Ladies Night, which is going to be Wednesday night, and Dr. Lauren is going to have Gina on, and they're going to have Ladies Night. So you guys don't want to miss that. Tom the Bomb will be getting the advertisement out. Look for it on social media. It'll be on Facebook, YouTube. So you guys don't want to miss that interview. It's going to be fantastic. 2 brilliant women. You guys don't want to miss that. Listen. If you haven't figured out that women are smarter than men, you just ain't that smart. You need to figure that out. But Mama was wrong. Dak needs that prenup.
And on that note,
we just don't forget to answer the poll question. We want to know what you guys think. Did Dak stick with that prenup? If you ain't scared, right, Frank Troy?
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles of mine stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth am the head and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light and I give sight, leading lost souls to a glorious light. I am light.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.